Well, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again today for another live Q&A. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to all of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some of the techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business, and I answer your questions to help you get started if this is what you want to do. If you're not new here, then you know that every week I have a poll um, because I'm genuinely curious as to how you guys handle some of these situations. And if you haven't come across any of these situations, then hopefully these poll answers and the advice that I give will help you make a decision for your own business. But today's poll was, at what point do you adjust your prices? And notice I didn't say increase. And notice I didn't say decrease. You're adjusting your prices based on maybe how busy you are, whatever it is. Maybe you've incorporated a new skill set. I mean, it could be any number of things, really. But I was curious to see what your thoughts were. So I'm going to run over to the poll really quick. So it looks like right now we have about 7 votes. Okay, so the responses available were, when I have too much business, right? Every year, and when business slows. And then I also have an other, please share in the chat. So if there was another indicator for you to adjust your prices either up or down, please share them in the chat. I would like to know. And other people watching this today may glean some, valuable nuggets from what you have to say. So far we have 8 votes, and 12% of you said when I have too much business. 12% of you said every year. I assume at some certain point in the year, maybe your anniversary, or maybe, I don't know. Please share. I'd like to know. 25% of you said when business slows, which is understandable. And then 50% of you said other. So I'm anxious to see what these others are. So let's hop on over to the comments and see who's here today. So first, we have James. Hi, James. I think you've been first the last few weeks. You get the prize for first commenter. We should have a running tally for you. Kara is here. Is it Kara or Kara? Gosh, I can never remember. I'm so sorry. I apologize in advance if I butcher your name. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Angela and chat. And then James says, my prices are at the low end of the GVAA. As I get more experience, they'll go up, which I think is pretty standard, right? Pretty standard GVAA. There is a range for GVAA prices, which, if you don't know what GVAA is, it's the Global Voice Academy, right? If you go to gvaa.com, they have a whole page for rates, just about any type of voiceover that you can think of. And if you're in the process, just side note, if you're in the process of creating your own rate guide, use GVAA, but also take a look at what other people are doing, just to give you a good idea of what may work. And another source that I recommend is A VO's Journey, which is my friend Anthony Pica's website. He also has a rate guide that's broken down a little bit further in terms of beginner, intermediate, and expert, and then for all different types of voiceover. So using all of these different guides, you can come up with a rate guide that works for you and then adjust them when necessary. But that's pretty typical. You start at the low end and then work your way up as you gain more experience and training, for sure. Grant is here. Good morning, Grant. Good morning, Angela. Grant from Columbus. Oh, still picking up spaghetti with a toothpick. Yeah, for those of you in the Facebook group, Grant had made a post about watching one of my videos, and he said, "What is she doing? She's picking up spaghetti with a toothpick." Not literally, but what I was doing to him looked like so I was still stuck on the image of picking up spaghetti with the toothpicks. I thought it was hilarious. I am Paximus. Hello, my first time here. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm new to audiobook narration, kind of started with a 100-book challenge in a year, now doing 200. Then with all the audiobooks I would listen to, now recording an audiobook. That's awesome. So your challenge, 100-book challenge in a year. So your challenge started with reading 100 books in a year and then listening to audiobooks? I feel like I feel like I'm getting a lot of, like my mic is almost too hot. Please let me know if my mic is way too hot. I adjusted a little bit of settings yesterday. I don't want it to be blowing your ears out. Milena says hello. Hello, Milena. And then Kara corrects me, Kara. So I was saying, okay, so Kara is right. Okay, thank you. Scott Fields is here. Hello from upstate New York. Well, hello from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. It's only 79 degrees right now. I think it was a high of 80 something. I could be wrong. What is today's high? Today's high is 90. I'll be happy when it's when it's in the 80s again. It'll be nice. Melina Joy says, good morning from Lancaster, California. Grant says, I am trying my best to break into audiobooks on ACX. I'm getting discouraged. It seems there is a lot of competition out there. I've submitted 15 auditions and gotten nothing thus far. Advice. Well, I think it could be one of two different things. It could be that the books that you're auditioning for, your voice is just not what they were looking for, which isn't any fault of yours. Or it could be that there's something going on with your audio quality. Maybe there's reverb going on that you don't hear, or echo, or maybe not noise floor. Maybe there's a lot of ambient noise in your recordings. Maybe there's a lot of mouth noise that's distracting. It could be any number of things that we're used to hearing because we're used to hearing ourselves talk, or used to hearing our own audio, right? When we go back and we edit it and all that stuff. So it could be a number of things. But I would say submitting a lot of auditions is pretty normal because, I mean, some people can submit 20 auditions and not see a single offer, and some people can submit one audition and get an offer. It just depends on what the rights holder is looking for and if your voice matches what they had in mind for that book. And it doesn't always necessarily mean audio quality, but it could be audio quality, especially if you're just getting started out and you're still in the process of fine tuning your space and your skill, right? It could be a number of things, but since you're in my Facebook group, post a demo in the group and get some feedback. Maybe somebody will hear something and um, it could be audio quality. I'm going to stop running around in circles. It looks like Louie is here. Hi, Louie. Thank you so much for the super chat. You're the best. I really appreciate you. Uh, hey, Angela in the house, please accept my request to your Facebook group. I did, actually. I did this morning. The mic is just fine. You look great. Oh, thank you. You look even cooler sporting a straight out of studio t-shirt. You know what? I have to get one. I think that's one of my favorite designs. Uh, if, I hate plugging myself, but if you don't know what he's talking about, I have t-shirts in the shop on my website because I wanted voiceover t-shirts. You probably can't see mine, but mine says voiceover artist. You've probably heard me before. And I like to wear shirts that, you know, I can say loud and proud that I'm a voiceover artist. But I designed shirts of my own that are on my website in the shop, and I have one that says straight out of studio, just like straight out of Compton, right? Um, that's one of my favorite ones. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, Louie. You're the best. Okay, where did we leave off? Oh, Kirk is here. Hi, Kirk. Indeed. To Grant, he says, hang in there. It's totally a numbers game. Don't be discouraged. Yeah, absolutely. Numbers game for sure. The more auditions that you could submit, the better your chances of getting an offer, because the better your chances of crossing paths with that rights holder who is looking for your voice, right? And then Kirk says, any thoughts on upgrading to RX10? I'm kind of thinking 9 is just fine. Any new bells and whistles in 10 that should push me over the edge? You know, I just upgraded to RX10, and from what I read, there were some changes made, and I think there was some additional features, but of course, it's early. I haven't had enough coffee. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But I did also ask Don Barnes, who is an audio guru in the voiceover world, and about his opinion. He's also very familiar with the RX10, the RX audio repair suite. And I asked him that because I was at RX7 forever. And I said, should I upgrade to RX9 or should I wait for RX10 to come out? This was obviously before RX10 came out. And he said just to wait until RX10 came out. So those immediately come to mind. But I would say that RX10 is probably going to be a great upgrade. However, I don't know what the differences are between 9 and 10. But if Don told me to wait to 10, then there has to be a reason for that. So I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry for the tangent, but I'm trying to pick through the files in my head because I remember there being some additional features, but I don't remember what those are. So you might want to hop on to isotope.com perhaps and see if there's anything new listed there, for RX10. I want to say that there is, but I couldn't tell you what it was exactly. Sorry, Kirk. Michelle says, hi, Angela from Michelle in North Carolina. It's my first time on the live stream. Well, welcome. I'm glad you could be here. Thank you so much. I'm at the very beginning of VO and haven't gotten a first gig yet. Still setting up my studio. Sometimes it takes a while, and then take the time you need to make sure that your studio is dialed in properly. Because as I always say, it doesn't matter if you have a $40 mic or if you have a $5,000 mic. That mic is going to pick up how well your studio space, your recording space sounds, right? So if you have a lot of reverb in your room, echo or ambient noise or the air conditioner's running, it doesn't matter how expensive your microphone is. It's going to actually, the more expensive your microphone is, the better it's going to enhance the poor sound of your studio if it's not dialed in right, if that makes sense. So focus on your studio. That is one of the more important aspects. But don't get discouraged if you don't get a gig or a job right away. Sometimes it takes some time. Everybody's different. Some people get jobs right out the gate. Some people, it takes them a good couple months. It took me a couple months to find my first gig. Sometimes it just takes time. But don't get discouraged. Just keep at it. It will happen. What you put in, just like any other business, what you put in is what you're going to get out. I am Paximus says, yes, sorry, reading 100 books in a year. That's a good goal. Now I'm reading 200, but with all the audiobooks I would listen to while reading, got more intrigued with audiobook narration. So wait a minute. You were listening to audiobooks while reading books? How do you do that? My mind just exploded. I don't know if I could do that. That's just, oh, wow. If that is the case, I am impressed. Kudos to you. All right. Really quick, let's head back over to the poll because I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. So again, the poll today was, at what point do you adjust your prices, either up or down? And as of right now, we have 15 votes. So 16 votes. 12% of you said when I have too much business. 6% of you said every year. 25% said when business slows. And then 56% of you said other. And if you did select other, if there's another indicator in which you change or adjust your prices either up or down, please share it in the chat. So that way, hopefully someone else in the chat can, glean a little golden nugget from you, or maybe an idea. You never know what's going to spark inspiration, right? That's interesting. Okay. For me personally, I change my prices when business increases. When business is almost too much to handle, I'll either I'll either take my time to delivery out a day, or I'll increase my prices, depending on the situation, sometimes both. But I've stayed pretty consistent in my prices for a while now. I found sort of my sweet spot in where I'm comfortable and where my repeat clients are still comfortable and all of that stuff. So I haven't increased my prices for a while. I've adjusted delivery dates and maybe some back end prices. But my initial prices have pretty much stayed the same for a while now. But that's typically what I would do. Once I had too much business, then I would increase my prices. I think I've only decreased my prices maybe once or twice, but that was years ago when I was doing some beta testing in terms of X amount of words for X amount of dollars. I was playing with what worked better, right? For both me and my clients. But I think I've found my sweet spot and I have no problem staying there. All right, cool beans. Let's go back to the comments. And then here we are with Scott. Maybe I missed this, but how do I go about determining full broadcast rights and commercial rights on Fiverr? Rights on Fiverr, usage rights, are tiered. So most of what you're going to see is going to, gig-wise, is going to at least need commercial rights. Commercial rights is when your voice is used to promote a product, service, or business online in any way, shape, or form. So if it's on their personal website, their business website, social media, if it's online at all, period, they're going to need commercial rights. And then another tier higher, right? So commercial rights plus full broadcast rights when it would be needed, good Lord, when that voiceover is then going to be used in an advertising marketing type of a thing. So for instance, if your voiceover is going to be used to promote a product, service, or business through a paid marketing ad like Google ads, TV commercials, radio commercials, Facebook ads, social media ads, when they're paying to promote that with using your voice, that is when full broadcast rights comes into play. Some people even take it a step further and just go with, instead of using the tiered commercial and full broadcast rights, they will use the custom gigs to do regional rights, national rights, rights in perpetuity. So there really is a few different ways that you could go about doing that. But I think with Fiverr, they, in their terms of service, outline commercial rights and full broadcast rights. So not to confuse clients, I think most of us just try to keep consistent with that and use commercial rights and full broadcast rights. So commercial rights, it's tiered. So commercial rights, internet use of your voice at all, promoting a product, service, or business. And then if they're going to then promote that with paid marketing, full broadcast rights. So commercial rights and full broadcast rights. So it's both for full broadcast rights. I hope that makes sense. Louis says accept, not accept. I know what you meant. Yes, you were accepted this morning. Everybody that had submitted a request to join my Facebook group was done so this morning. I usually do that on Mondays, but yesterday was just crazy. Savannah's here. Hi, Savannah. Morning, everyone. Hey, Angela. Hi, Savannah. I was wondering how you schedule your audiobooks. Example, how many days are needed to produce a 6.5-hour book? Well, I think that's going to be dependent on your schedule. For me, I typically have at least 2 or 3 books in queue almost all the time. So I have to break them into chunks. So that is another reason why I ask for at least 30 days on books, usually about 30,000 words and more. Some of them get a month and a half because I'm juggling multiple books. But what I'll try to do typically is to, using my agenda book that I have here, I'll leave myself notes. Okay, this book needs this many chapters done today. This book needs this many chapters done. And then once they're all done, then I go through and edit. I mean, so it all depends on what your schedule looks like. If you are a full-time audiobook narrator and you have one book to do, then obviously you can give it more of your time every single day. But if you're doing multiple things, like I have a lot of group meetings, I have mentorship meetings that I do in a day. I I have other voiceover work. I have podcasts that I edit. So my day is really planned out in chunks. So I dedicate chunks of my time to this book and then chunks of my time to this book and then slowly, move through them and get them done. But a 6.5-hour audiobook, I would probably ask, so that would be 65,000 words roughly. I would ask for a good month, maybe 45 days to get that done. But that's me. But for you, it could take you a lot less time. So if you break that down, that's about 65,000 words, right? So 6.5 hours finished. So it would take you twice as long to narrate it because you're going to have mistakes and retakes and long pauses. And then the editing process is going to be another maybe 2 or 3 hours for each finished hour. So that audiobook could take you what? I Why is there math this early? So that 6.5-hour book could in essence take you 26, 30 something hours to do. So however you can break that up in your day. Hope that answers your question. Kirk, cool. I think I'll do the upgrade. What the heck? It's only money. Yeah, and you are stuck with roofers at your house today, so you probably are looking for something else to keep your mind busy so you're not stressing out about the work you can't do while all the noise is going on, right? Indeed. Rustic Hillbilly is here. Hello, good morning. Wouldn't you adjust prices as market data dictates? Yes. However, it's also about, just like anything else, supply and demand, right? There are like industry rates, there are industry standard rates for just about any kind of voiceover type of work that you do. But I find that with that range of standard pricing, if you start at the low end in the beginning when you're first getting started out, then that helps you to get business a little bit sooner. And then as you get more equipment, training, experience, and you're more confident about what you're doing, then you can move your prices up to the higher range. But there's going to be some points where maybe business has slowed down for you and you feel like adjusting your prices down a little bit to maybe entice more people to make orders on some of the freelance marketplaces. And then also, if you're busy, if you have almost too much business to keep up on, then you might want to consider increasing your prices to maybe slow the flow of business down. So I think a lot of us adjust our prices in those ways for those reasons, but there are pretty much industry standard rates or a range of rates for voiceover, all the different types of voiceover work. But it's really up to you. It's your business. You run it the way you want to run it and charge what you want to charge, what you're comfortable with. But you don't want to be too way far out of line on places like, for example, if you're on Fiverr, where there are levels of sellers. There's a new seller, level 1, level 2, then top rated. You want to stay consistent sort of within those ranges of your level because you don't want to be a brand new seller and most people are selling for this price and you're way over here. Then if someone's price conscious, they're not going to come and look at you at this price way over here. They're going to come and look at all these people that are sort of in the same range, if that makes sense. So it takes a lot of just kind of figuring out what's going to work for you and what you're comfortable with in the beginning. And then as you go along to adjust according to how busy or not busy you are. I am Paximus. I teach middle school students, and it is a learning style that helps students stay engaged in reading and literacy. Some students cannot do this, so they are able to do silent reading in a different area. Interesting. That's interesting. My son's in middle school, and I think he prefers audiobooks to reading books, although I'm trying to push books on him as much as I can because I am a book nerd. I'm a big book nerd. I'm always reading books. I'm collecting books. I'm running out of room for books, but I'm hoping to impress that love upon him as well, but he really loves audiobooks. Smiley? That's cute. Hi, Angela. I love your videos. They were very informative and led me to finally auditioning and contracting. I almost said contracting. My first narration job on ACX. That's awesome. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I have something for you. Congratulations. I know. I'm a nerd. I can't help it. Now I can't turn it off. Oh, there we go. I know. I'm a dork. I'm okay with it. Well, that's great. Congratulations. That's awesome. Yay. Sariki the Great. Hi, everyone. Just popped in to gain some more knowledge and say hello. Well, hello. Glad you could pop in for a minute. Glad to have you. Janeri Rubio says, hi, Angela, watching you again. Well, I would love to say same, but I can't see you. But thank you for being here. Scott Field says, okay, thank you. That makes it clear. Okay, good. Good. Because you got to let me know, because if you've watched me for any point of time, then you know I go off on tangents. So please let me know if I answer your question, because my brain. Lorna's Adventures After 50. Good morning, Angela and crew. Good morning. Good morning. Cool autumn morning in Oregon. I would change on season skills and time voices of different characters as skill increases. Haven't got an ACX gig yet. Green, positive feedback. So that's awesome. First and foremost, I can only imagine how beautiful it is in Oregon right now, and in the coming month, right? When the seasons actually change. We're just brown here in the desert, so I don't get to see seasons. The colors change. So jealous. But yeah, definitely, as your skill increases, you're also going to be investing in your training and in your equipment and all of that stuff. Um, increases your value as a voice artist. So that is definitely when you want to also consider increasing your prices, but keeping them low in the beginning. There's nothing wrong with that. I did it. Most everybody I know did. Just kind of dip your toes in, right? Janeri Rubio says, hi, Angela. What is the name of your Facebook? I will join tonight. Oh, it's the VO Workshop is my Facebook group. Thank you for asking. Yes, the VO Workshop. Smiley says, I was wondering how you manage mouth clicks. I heard about the Apple trick, but is there something you do in editing to remove them? I haven't invested in the best softwares yet, and I use Audacity. Mouth noise is the bane of a voice actor or audiobook narrator's existence. Let me tell you, it's been a struggle for as long as I've been doing this. You can manually auto heal them out in most DAWs, but that takes forever. There is in there Isotope has a package called the RX Audio Repair Suite. Right now, it's RX 10 is what the current iteration is. And there are 3 packages of plugins that they offer in RX 10. There's the Elements, Standard, and Advanced. And the Standard and the Advanced, not so much the Elements, of course, not the introductory package, right? But the Standard and the Advanced packages have something called Mouth Declick. And that plugin alone has been worth every single penny. Every single penny. Because that plugin is going to remove your mouth clicks or reduce them enough that you don't have to spend hours and hours trying to remove them. That single plugin alone has cut my editing time down by a good 80%. Easy. And I use it on everything because I, just like most of us, am plagued with mouth noise. Of course, you could have water with you. Staying hydrated tends to help. And there are a lot of voice actors that will give you, tips that or tricks that work for them, like the green apples, anything crisp, not crisp, even citrus, like hot water with a little bit of lemon, biting into a lemon. Oh gosh, there's I can't think of the other ones now, but usually citrus, apples, something with citric acid, right? or just drinking a lot of water, brushing your teeth right before, staying away from dairy. There's a lot of things that people will tell you to help reduce mouse noise, mouth noise. But for me, none of those really work as effectively as just using a plugin. So I've sort of just used that, and it has been gold, the mouth declick in Isotope. So that would be what I recommend. Louis says, Janeri Rubio, here's the link to Angela's Facebook group. See you there. Oh, thank you, Louis. You're the best. You are the best, Louis. Kirk says, oh, text search and navigation plus multiple speaker recognition. Yep, upgrading to RX10. Yes, that's right. Oh, that's right. Multiple speaker recognition. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's been a few new features. So thank you for thank you for reminding me, because I can't remember anything anymore. That's why I have to write everything down. Robert Allaire says, I had to press pause these last few weeks due to Hurricane Ian. Life in Central Florida. Sorry. It's nice to have you back inside my ear. I'll go back to the last broadcast later. Well, we're glad to have you back, Robert, and I hope everybody is okay. Everything is okay with you and yours and your home. And Ian was just horrible. So I get it. I mean, but take the time that you have to do what you got to do. But I'm glad to have you back. I'm picturing myself in your ear. Hi. Joy West. Hi, Angela from Southfield, Michigan. Hello, Joy. Thank you for joining. I am Paxima says, love the nerd moment. Embrace the nerd. That's right. Let your nerd flag fly. I am perfectly fine with calling myself a nerd. I'm fine with it. I embrace my nerd. Everybody should. Embrace who you are. Kirk says, never apologize for liking toys. Right. You like toys? Toys are fun. Smiley says, thank you. Another question is, once you complete and submit a project, do you save your work as if building a portfolio, or do you just delete and move on? What would you suggest for a beginner? I always keep what I do. I keep everything that I do. Once it's done, it doesn't matter if it's a commercial, an e-learning gig, or an audiobook. As soon as the client is happy with it and you're paid, then I move everything off to external storage. And then if you have permission from the client and you want to use it as a piece of it as a demo for demo purposes, if you're making your own demos, then make a demo with it and then move it off to external hard drive, right? Move it off to offline storage. But I don't delete anything. I keep everything. That's just the way that I am. If anything were to ever happen, I have everything, right? Not that I ever expect anything to happen, but I keep everything. Louis says, you're a book hipster. That's the new political term for us nerds. Is it? Hipster. I'm going to stick with nerd. Call me retro. I'll be a nerd. I'm also trying to bring back rad. Can we bring back rad? Not so much tubular, but rad. I'm an 80s girl. Sean Lester says, so far, the clients have been raising what they pay. That is awesome. I've had a couple of instances where a client has sent a budget of X amount, but according to all of my rates, my bid came in a little bit lower than their budget. I didn't adjust to their budget. I kept my rates what they were advertised as, because that is what I advertised my rates to be. I didn't raise them to their budget. And when I've done that, I found that that client not only paid me my rate, but then tipped me the difference. So they had allotted or budgeted a certain amount for the voiceover job. So they gave it to me anyway in the form of a tip, right? So let's just say that their budget was $600 and my bid came in at $450. They would tip me the additional $150 to make it $600. So because that just made me feel better. I wasn't going to adjust up just because their budget was higher than my advertised rate. I didn't feel that was right. So I just gave them, what my rate was, and then they tipped me the difference. So that was nice. That was nice. But I do find that some clients do that. That's awesome. And I think it's because they have that much allotted for the job, right? So they give it to you. Yeah. Louis says, LOL. I know. I'm full of yucks today. James Park says, never apologize for your nerdiness. Embrace your weird. Let your freak flag fly. I agree 100%. Embrace who you are, weird or not. There's only one you. Embrace it. JCCAOL says, nothing beats the feeling of listening to VoiceOver Angela while filling out Halloween cards to friends. You fill out Halloween cards to friends? Oh, that is so sweet. I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. Oh, for those of you watching, thank you for reminding me, that are in my platinum membership group, please let this be your reminder that Thursday's meeting is our character read. So, in the spirit of Halloween, everybody comes dressed as a character. Well, extra brownie points if you come dressed as the character, but come to the meeting as a character and try to sustain that character for the entire meeting. And then I bring a script that everybody reads, sort of like an audition cold read, and everybody reads it so we can hear different perspectives and different takes on the same piece of copy, but as that character that you come as. So, reminder, this Thursday, um, October 13th is when we're doing our character read. So don't forget to come as your character. John Popovich says, good morning, Angela. And everyone, sorry a little late. That's okay. You have a pass. You have a pass. Oh, Sean, thank you. You sent me a little super chat. I didn't see it. I wasn't notified, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. You guys rock. Louis says, John Popovich, how dare you, sir? JK, glad you made it. It's okay. You can pop in, pop out. It's fine. I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. Janeri Rubio says, hi, Angela. Janeri is me, Irene. LOL. Why are you coming all incognito? Well, you're not incognito anymore. You just told everybody who you were. So I missed the plugin for mouth click. What is the name again? And is it something I have to pay? Yes, Isotope RX10 Mouth declick is the plugin you want. And that is only available in the standard package and the advanced package. There are 3 packages for the RX10 plugins, the Elements, Standard, and Advanced. And Mouth declick is the one you want. And that's only available again in Standard and Advanced. And yes, you do have to pay. I was talking to somebody yesterday who told me that there was a subscription option for RX10. I must have completely missed that. Did everybody know that? I paid for it outright, and then I upgrade every so often, every few years, apparently. But I didn't know there was a subscription option. I think the subscription option would make sense if you were only going to be working with audio for a short period of time. But I think I didn't do the math, obviously, but it was like $35 a month or something they were telling me. I'll have to look into it, but it might make more sense just to buy it outright. I don't know. You'll have to do the math and see if it makes sense for you. But yes, you do have to buy plugins. And also for anybody watching, whatever DAW you have, please be sure that the plugins you're looking at to purchase, whether they be from Isotope or Waves or anywhere else, just make sure that they're compatible with your DAW before you buy them. I think most of them, for the most part, work pretty seamlessly from DAW to DAW, but I'm not 100% sure. And not all plugins work with all DAWs. So make sure that you double check that the plugins you're looking at to purchase are compatible with your DAW before you purchase. VoiceOver Audio Janet says, good morning, everyone, and thanks for hosting, Angela. I'm glad you're here, Janet. Thank you for being here. Janeri Rubio says, thank you, Louis. Louis says that Sean Lester, I bow to you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that super chat, Sean. That was nice. And then Louis, Janeri Rubio. Yeah, Rad is always in, as far as I'm concerned. You are okay by me, sir. We just became BFFs. 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 I need more coffee. Oh, we'll be braiding each other's hair later. Yep. I found my tribe, my rad nerd tribe. Must love coffee too. Must love coffee. James Park said we should totally bring back rad. That would be gnarly. For sure. Totally. Grant Bunting said, so did you start off with audiobooks and then move into other VO? I did. I started with audiobooks and then I started to join some of the freelance marketplaces, Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, Guru. And as I was doing my audiobooks, I would have somebody reach out to me on one of these other platforms and say, "Hey, I see that you do audiobooks, but could you do a IVR or a phone voice message? Or could you do a character script? Or could you do a PowerPoint? Could you do, you know what I mean?" And then I would have to look it up because in the beginning I didn't know anything about anything. And then I go, "Oh yeah, I can do that for sure." And so then I would do that. And then it just started to sort of snowball from there. And then as time went on, people would start asking about, well, can you add the voiceover to video? Or could you add music? Could you do, X, Y, and Z? And then I would look it up to see how difficult it was to do. And then once I felt confident that I could do it, I would add that skill set to my offerings. And then again, it just started to snowball from there. But yes, I started with audiobooks and then moved into other types of VO, and now I pretty much do everything that requires a voice. So, and some people start the other way. They start with, commercial work like the shorter form VO and then slowly work into audiobooks. But I think if you're conditioning yourself with audiobooks first, if you can get down the marathon of audiobooks, then everything else is sort of cake instead of the other way around. Because then once if you go from commercials to audiobooks, then you go, "Gee, holy Moses, this takes forever. I hate it." Right? I think it's a little bit more of a struggle if you start with the shorter stuff and then move to the longer form, but I could be wrong. That's my thinking. Lorna's Adventures After 50 says, I sing 60 minutes before, brush teeth with olive oil, coconut oil, then drink, is that 16 ounces? Drink with 1 teaspoon apple cider vinegar and electrolytes like Propel or Powerade. 1 teaspoon lemon or lime clears mouth, throat gack. Really? Brush your teeth with olive oil and coconut oil. Is that olive oil and coconut oil or coconut oil? And then ACV and electrolytes and then lemon or lime. This just might be the secret concoction. I'm gonna have to try to remember that one. Should I write it down? Should probably write it down. I'll write it down. Actually, I'm gonna screenshot it. Boop, screenshot. Oh my God. And then Janeri says, thank you for that. Is it expensive? I'm guessing you're asking. I don't know the current prices. You'd have to check out isotope.com. It's izotope.com. I bought Isotope a long time ago and then upgraded. So with once you purchase one of their packages, then you get offers in upgrading at a discounted price. So I don't know exactly what the current prices are. Every once in a while, they'll have a sale on their plugins. So check them out and see what the current prices are. If it's November next month, most of the time I see most everybody offering some sort of a Black Friday sale on some of this stuff. I'm not saying to wait. I'm just saying be cognizant that there may be a sale coming. I know like voices.com or Voice123, one of the two, they usually have like a Black Friday sale for membership. Same with some plugins. Waves typically has sales all the time. And Isotope occasionally has a sale on their packages. So, but of course, check it out for yourself and see if it's something that is doable for you to invest in for your business. Again, isotope.com, izotope.com. Kirk said, never heard of the subscription. Still, I prefer buying. Yeah, same. That's something else I don't have to keep track of every month. It's just sort of paid for and I don't have to worry about it. I've got like this weird wing going here. But yeah, I've never heard of the subscription either, but someone had told me about it yesterday. I must have completely missed it. I'll have to go and check it out and see how much it is. Grant said, I've used RX10 mouth declick. I've been playing around with it and it takes out a lot of the clicks. But if you adjust the sensitivity too much, it can take out patches of audio as well. Absolutely. That is why I say whatever effect you're using, start on the low end and then slowly work your way up. Because mouth declick, like you said, I think my sensitivity is at like 4 or just below, maybe at like 2, somewhere between 2 and 4 if memory serves, I think. I can't remember anything, but it's not very high because if you take it up too high, then you start to take out the T's and the D's, some of the consonants that could be construed as a mouth click, and you don't want to do that. But on the lower end, stay there with mouth declick. And if you have to manually remove some of the louder ones as you're editing, then so be it. But you don't have to completely remove every single mouth click because if you take out all of your breaths, all of your mouth clicks, you end up sounding like a robot. And you're not a robot. You're a human being. Here's a cup of Java to you. Nice. Coffee and Nerd Zone. I love it. That's the next shirt. Coffee and Nerd Zone. Louie. Can we use a filter to use as a costume for the meeting? A filter? No. Wait, I have to go platinum first, though. Yeah. Is it too late or can we go platinum today and still make the meeting? Of course, you can join the day of, and I make sure that you have a invite to join the meeting. My platinum group is currently $20 a month, and we meet every Thursday at 8 p.m. EST. And also with the membership, you get access to my blog, some mini challenges, some practice scripts. So there's a lot more to the membership. But I think the best part of the membership is that we meet every Thursday at 8 p.m. EST and we go through reads, demos, tutorials. It's very casual. Everybody brings a drink. It's a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. But this Thursday, in the spirit of Halloween again, I wanted to do something a little extra special. Actually, it was brought up by Eric, who was on with me last week. So I have him to thank for that. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun on Thursday. I'm excited about it. So if you join today, of course, you can join the meeting on Thursday. And if you miss meetings, I do record them, so you can always go back and catch the replay. Sean Lester 007 says, for mouth noise, do vocal warm-up, coffee with a smidge of butter, 15 minutes or so of recording to get crud worked out of mouth, cuss, because it really doesn't work. Oh my God. I wish there was an easy button for mouth clicks. I do, but I'm really intrigued about this whole thing that Lorna's Adventures After 50 said about the whole concoction. Coffee. Oh, are we cheersing here? Cheers. My Pennywise mug. You can't just cheers and then not take a drink. Yeah, everybody's saying thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. That was rad. It was rad. Louie t-shirt rad. Need tribe. Angela is a genius. Yeah. It needs to be I think you meant nerd tribe. Rad nerd tribe. There we go. That's it right there. Rad nerd tribe. Something along those lines, I think. Oh gosh. Here we go. I'm off on another tangent. Joy West says, Angela, what do you do to warm up your voice before you start working in voiceover? Anything you like. Some people like tongue twisters. Some people like to sing. Some people like to shout. Some people do full body warm-ups. You really stretch your facial muscles, work your tongue. Something just came to mind and then flew away. You know what? There is, I think I've mentioned this before, but this is a great book for voiceover, voice actor. I actually have this book recommended on my website as well with all my recommended gear. But this book has got tons of tongue twisters in it, like things that you can read and recite out loud and sort of put into your routine of warm up every day. They have some really great suggestions for exercises and scripts, and there's just a lot of great information in this book. And I recommend it for new and veteran voice artists too. Maybe you might learn. You never know when you're going to find a little nugget that just makes your life so much easier. But for me, I just start talking, and let the crud work out and then cuss because it doesn't work now. I My first script of the day, I use that as something to say, and then I just kinda say it over and over and over and then stretch my face out, move around a little bit to kinda warm up my entire body, not just my mouth. So, any number of things would really work for you, whatever you find to be most helpful, right? I would say do for you. John Popovich says, "I am having a heck of a time getting gigs on Fiverr and Upwork. Most of my work is on ACX. Any suggestions?" Um, I think Fiverr and Upwork are a little bit tricky because you really need to babysit those because the algorithm is really going to favor you or not favor you depending on what you do and what you don't do. But what I always tell people is that keep in mind that, namely Fiverr, if you work on Fiverr, there is a natural ebb and flow to Fiverr, right? Because they're trying to shift people around a lot to give everybody an equal shake. So, a couple weeks you'll be on page one, and a couple weeks later you'll be at the very last page. They're trying to give everybody an equal opportunity to be seen by people, clients. So, whenever you change your gig, it resets your algorithm. So if you update your thumbnail, if you update your prices, if you update your description, if you refresh your demos, any change you make to your gig is going to reset your algorithm. Sometimes it's for the better. You could be today on page 5, update your thumbnail, and then the algorithm goes, "Ooh, I'm going to move you to page 1." Excuse me, frog. But on the same token, that updating of your thumbnail could also move you back to page 12. You never really know. But excuse me, if you're finding a lack of impressions, then I would definitely change something. Um, Namely, probably your title and your tags, right? If you're finding a lack of clicks, but you're getting a good amount of impressions, then I would probably change your demo, your pricing structure, or your thumbnail. Because I don't know, those tend to be typically what it is. If you're not getting orders, then it's more than likely either your price or your demo. Personal opinion. But if you're not finding any business at all, then what's it going to hurt to go in there and just completely revamp everything and reset your algorithm, right? And see if that helps. Right? Louis says rad nerd tribe t-shirt, not rad need tribe. I know what you meant. Rad nerd tribe. Yep, I like it. MJ Rod says, "I really want to narrate audiobooks, but so far no bite on ACX. Have decided to take on a solo project on LibriVox to get the feel as if I'm doing a full book. I'm on 33 auditions and counting." Excuse me. I think if 33 auditions, I have to say there might be something with your audio or your performance. Because unless you're auditioning for books that are, not anywhere close to what your voice represents, if you're auditioning for something British and wanting a British and you have an American accent or something like that where you just don't fit, it could be your audio quality or your performance after 33 auditions. Or it could be wrong. Or maybe you're just, I don't know, maybe the universe is saving you for something huge that you need the time to complete. It's really hard to say. I would say get some feedback on your auditions just to be sure that there isn't something that could be holding you back from winning a job. Like on a Facebook group, share an audition and just get some feedback on it. is what I would do. But volunteering for work on LibriVox is definitely a good way to sort of learn the ropes and to get accustomed to the marathon of audiobook narration and production for sure. So that's what I would say for you. Ralph says, "Hi, Angela and Angelinos." Economics. I was thinking would be my reasoning for raising my rates. Most customers sounds appropriate. Must customers sounds appropriate as well. Um, yeah, especially with inflation, it's it's just been insane. Everything that you need, everything is affecting everything. Like car insurance rates just all went up from inflation. I mean, it's just nuts. So I could see that too, just absolute need, inflation, you're gonna have to raise your rates, appropriately. Yeah, yeah, that would definitely be an other for the poll. Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Kirk says, "Buying outright currently, not upgrade price. Standard," these are the isotope plugins. Standard is $2.99, advanced is $5.99. Standard is perfectly fine for VO, and yes, mouth declick is amazing. Um Wow, so it looks like they are on sale. Isotope RX10 is on sale. So if that is the case, then I would go run and get it because they're usually double that, the pricing easily. So they are on sale. So definitely go check them out. Thank you, Kirk. Indeed. Louis says at John Popovich, create a sales funnel for your gig. Give away a checklist for hiring the ultimate VO artist. You. Great point. Ralph says, oops, more customers sounds like a good reason idea as well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you have way too much business and you're starting to drown, you need to raise your rates. Lorna's Adventures After 50 says, either oil, as they both kill bad bugs, remove stains. Also, drink ACV with lemon with straw to protect teeth. Lemon and ACV very close to stomach acid, hard on teeth. Fats, salt help balance mucus hydration. Wow. Learn something new every day. Thank you for that. Smiley says, as a side income thing, how would you suggest I manage this when it comes to tax time? Separate account or just keep tabs on it? Does ACX offer a contractor tax form thingy? ACX will ask you if you want them to withhold taxes for you or if you're going to do it on your end. And if you're going to do this on the side, I would say try to keep the monies separate. At the very least, have a PayPal account in which you keep your ACX money. That way you can keep tabs on it. Either way, you're going to have to keep tabs on it because at some point, once you get to a certain threshold, you will have to pay taxes. Make sure that you do your due diligence for your state and your area, that you're doing things right for tax time, but definitely keep track of what you earn so that way you can also keep track of your expenses once you get to that point when you're deducting expenses for your business too. But starting out with the good habits of keeping track of your income and expenses is only going to serve you as things start to pick up. So keeping things separate is what I suggest, just to make it a little bit easier to keep track of. VoiceOver Van Deen says, good evening. I was on time, but only listening. Haven't been able to type until now. Rad is a totally cool and bodacious word. Dudes and dudettes. It does need more love. I would agree. I'm originally from California, from the Valley, so I should talk like a Valley girl, right? But I don't. Total side note, because I know that was like a Valley Girl thing, like gag me with a spoon was a thing in the 90s and in the 80s, mostly 80s. But I agree, we should bring back rad. And bodacious? Bodacious makes me think of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or what's his name? Bart Simpson. Does he say bodacious? Who says bodacious? Who am I thinking of? But rad, we should definitely bring back. Yeah. Melina Joy says at Janeri Rubio, I waited for a sale. I bought Element 8 for $49 and bought the upgrade for RX9 for $129. That's another way to do it. If you buy the Elements package, you can upgrade usually at a lower cost to Standard, which has the mouth declick. Take a look and see which way it's going to work for you. What's the best way to do it? A free upgrade to Standard RX10. I believe the prices start around $299. I only paid $178. Clever. James Park said, sorry, I had to duck out for a bit. I had a phone appointment with my oncologist, just a 3-month checkup. I've been cancer free for over a year. Anyway, where were we? What did I miss? Congratulations on your remission. That is amazing. I have been cancer free for, 13 years now. 13 years cancer free myself. Still got to get checked up on now once a year. I'm not every 6 months anymore. I'm every year. But congratulations. That is quite the tremendous thing. Didn't miss much. We were mostly rad and tubular and bodacious, and you might have to watch the replay. I think we actually did cover a lot, to be honest. I am Paximus says, I use the Rodecaster mixer to do my audiobook narration, and it comes with compression, noise gate, Aphex, big bottom, and aural exciter. I found it really helpful if you have the budget for no clicks. Does it have a frog remover? Because I need one of those. Jeez. An aural exciter. What is that? What is that? It's very interesting. Please tell me more. John Popovich says, will do. Thanks for the info, Angela. Please click that like button, everyone. Yes, please. Thank you, John. Yes, please like that like button. Click that like button. Good Lord. Louis says, James Park, ultimate health, wealth, and happiness to you always. Absolutely. Absolutely. VoiceOver Audio Janet says, after a lot of thinking and in this economy, I just can't afford to redo my closet as a studio. Nowhere else in the home to work with. Can't use car either as it's heading into winter. In it for fun. Yeah. It's tough when you don't really have a dedicated place to do your voiceover, but you could always build what we like to call hobo forts with the little PVC and moving blankets that is, excuse me, movable. And you could put it up, take it down whenever you need to use it too. That's an option. I know a few people who have done that for years. I'm sure it's a little tedious and exhausting after a while, but you got to do what you got to do, right? But I feel you. You just got to work with what you got. Joy West says, what if you're already on Upwork for something else? How can I add voice acting? You can have multiple profiles. One main profile. What is it called? Is it a profile? It's called, I want to say it is a profile, but you have one main profile and then what is it called? And then you can have 3 different like variations of your profile. It's not called profile, it's called something else. And the word is just not coming to my mind. But I have a general profile and then I have a voice acting profile. Expertise I think is what it is, perhaps. So almost like Fiverr, where you have one main profile and then you have all of these gigs where you offer all of these different specific things. With Upwork, you have specific expertise profiles. So they're like alternate profiles for different types of work that you offer. So on Upwork, if you knew how to develop websites, you could have a website profile, and then you could have a voice acting profile, and then you could have a general profile where you offer maybe everything. Right. So depending on what the client is looking for, they will fall on that particular profile. So you can have another alternate profile for just voice acting on Upwork. Absolutely. Joy West says, oh, yes, can't forget about inflation. It's running and ruining everything. 110%, sister. Louis says, at VoiceOver Audio Janet, you can always offer editing sound files as a gig on Fiverr. After a few gigs, you'll have enough for a closet studio in no time. He's so supportive and positive, that Louis. He is. John Popovich says, Louie, on the Fiverr gig page, can you message me? I'm on the VO group page on Facebook. Louie. I still like word solid. I was a big Mod Squad fan. That's right. Solid. I'm going to bring that back as well. I think rad and solid need to come back. What other word should we bring back? Bodacious was Bill and Ted. You're right. Bill and Ted, and I want to say somebody else used it too quite a bit. But you're right. Bill and Ted. How can I forget about Bill and Ted? Louie says at John Popovich, as soon as I get a chance, I will. Voiceover audio Janet says at Louie, thanks for the idea, but the fact that I have no clue as to what you're talking about is telling. Oh boy. Robert says RX10 standard on sale for $299. You're getting $100 off. Yeah, that's a good deal. Or even take a look at considering getting elements and then upgrading to standard and what that would be. That's something else to consider as well, to be potentially save a few bucks. James Park says, thank you at Louie, and the same to you. Absolutely. Joy says, speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I got a chance to hang out with Rob Paulson, a.k.a. Donatello, to 2012 on a virtual event he had on Clarity. He is so funny and cool. That is cool. That is so cool. Okay, it's a little after 10. I do have a meeting to get off to, so let's wrap up these last few comments, okay? All right, here we go. I am Paximus says an exciter, also called a harmonic exciter or aural exciter, is an audio signal processing technique used to enhance a signal by dynamic equalization, phase manipulation, equals, colors your voice in track. Interesting. Yeah, everything, all of my hardware that I have is pretty cut and dry. There's nothing in here that is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like dynamic and like really in depth. It's all like basic, like DS or gate, all that kind of stuff. So that's a first for me. So I understand what you're saying, but I have never heard the term before. Interesting. I would love to hear the difference it makes. Louie says Ninja Turtles say tubular and cowabunga dude. Yeah. Is it just Bill and Ted that said bodacious? I want to say someone else did too. Maybe I'm just imagining things. John Popovich says, what about totally tubular dude and excellent? Excellent. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, that's right, Joy. Booyah shaka. That's right. You guys are awesome. You guys are my people. Fellow nerd tribe. My rad nerd tribe. Michelle says, thank you so much, Angela and everyone. I love all the collaboration. Yeah, you guys rock. All of you rock. All of you rock. Robert says, bye, kids. Louie at Joey West. Yeah. LOL. Oh, yeah. I am Maximus. If anything, it just adds clarity. I usually refer to that as shimmer in your voice. Oh, I like the shimmer. Janet says, you're so nice, Louie. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys are all amazing. Malay, is it Malay or Malay? I always so afraid of butchering your name. When you get a lot of pressure from your client, how could you tackle the problem? Love from India. When you get a lot of pressure from your client, you mean in terms of pricing? I think that comes down to what you're willing to stand on. If you're going to stand firm on your prices or not. I think once you determine what prices you're comfortable with, keep them firm. If you have a client that has perhaps worked with you before, maybe even multiple times, and they have a budget that is maybe a little bit less than your standard rate that they've paid in the past, I say it's okay to be flexible with them and maybe cut them a break. But I would not cut my rates by 40, 50, 60% just to, you have to consider what you're comfortable with, what your time is worth. Because you've invested probably hundreds, in some cases, thousands of dollars into creating your space. You're getting the training you need, the equipment you need, spending the time invested in honing your craft and learning how to do this, if you're not willing to cut your prices for one client, then I have even found that some people, when I give them my rate and it's maybe even double or triple their budget, sometimes they're just throwing a number out to see if you'll take it. Sometimes after I give them my rate, they respond almost offended that I would have a rate that I do, but then 2 days later come back and agree to it. It's very strange. So, I say stand firm on what you're willing to take for rates, and that's it. But if you gotta do what you gotta do and maybe be a little bit flexible because maybe business is slow, then consider that too. But, stand firm on what you believe you're worth. And then Kirk says, "And before you go, like the live." Yes, indeed. John says, "Woo, Ric Flair wrestling." That's right. Oh my gosh, I forgot about all those guys. Cowabunga, says I am Paximus. And then Janet says, "Remember, it's a business." Yes, remember it is a business and that you have to keep it afloat. Be flexible if you want to, but have maybe a cutoff point in mind. Like, this is your rate, but I'm not going to go any lower than this in this sort of a situation or this sort of a circumstance, to maybe be flexible for a repeat client or something like that, you know, but it is a business. I am Paximus. Thank you. Cowabunga, dude. $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Have a cup of Java on me. Thanks for your time and hosting this and answering our questions. Thank you for being here, and thanks for being my new BFF or one of my new BFFs. I feel like you all are. You're all here every Tuesday, and I appreciate that. This is a hoot. I love doing this with you guys. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Louis says, at VoiceOverAngela, gosh. That's goofy, right? Gosh. All right, last one. Janeri Rubio says, "Hi, Angela. How many auditions did you do before landing a job? Did you do LibriVox first or did you do both? You're already doing auditions on voiceover sites while doing LibriVox." I did, oh gosh, this was like 4.5 years ago now. Um, I want to say I did maybe 10, somewhere between 10 and 20 auditions for an audiobook before I got my first audiobook on ACX. But before I went live on ACX, I went to LibriVox first. LibriVox was first, and with that experience, I learned how to format my files. I think that was most beneficial in learning how to work my DAW and format my files, but it also gave me a little bit of experience, a taste, if you will, of narrating audiobooks and just the marathon that it is. It is a lot of work. It's not a sprint, it is a marathon. Audiobooks are a lot of work. And doing LibriVox first will definitely introduce you to just what it could be. But I think for me personally, the technical aspect of learning how to use my DAW and format my files by doing LibriVox first was hugely beneficial. But after I did that, after I successfully volunteered for LibriVox for a couple of pieces, I was much more confident in asking for money, right? Offering my services for money from people on ACX. I felt really bad about charging people for my incompetence, for what I didn't know in the beginning. But after doing LibriVox, I was much more confident and in myself and in my techniques and my ability. And then in also asking money in exchange for my services. So it was a very great experience. And I recommend doing LibriVox first if you're a little hesitant about getting onto ACX. Great question. I am Paximus. Thank you for your support, sir. You are awesome, from Louis. Yes, I'll smiley face. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louis. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate all of you that take the time to hop in here every week and hang out and answer questions and have conversations and be so supportive of each other and of me. And I appreciate all of you. Um, if anyone wants to join the platinum group and, be part of that, that would be awesome. Um, I appreciate all of you. I'm at a loss for words, but um, I will be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, 12 p.m. EST here on YouTube. So I will see everybody then. And until then, have a great week, everybody. Bye.